Hello, in this video, we're going to talk about the treatment guide. We're going to talk about what it is, how to use it when we use it, and also how to print it. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The treatment guide is a presentation binder that we use to explain our service to prospective customers, prospective clients. The way it's set up is that the first page has a cover page, which is basically just the penguin holding our logo. And it says treatment guide. On the back, it has a copy of our rate card, which is double-sided, it's printed two-sided. And so if you ever need the back of it, you can just pull it out and look at it. But if you just need the first page, then it's just in there. Then when you open it up, it's got service agreements in there. And then the inserts are all laminated with high quality lamination. The edges have been cut off right here so that it can turn very easily. Otherwise, it gets hung up on the binder's metal latch there. And it's just got these inserts, which is set up to where it walks the potential or the prospective customer through a logical pathway where it explains who we are, what we do, what we are offering. And then the last page is, it says, let's get started, which that's a trigger for you as either the sales rep or the technician to then go back to the first page, pull out a service agreement, put it on the binder, and then start filling it out. So it works really well. Before we get in, I want to say one other thing. We've thought a lot about going digital. We've considered it. So don't come to me and be like, hey, have you ever thought about taking all this and putting it in a iPad? Yes, we have thought about that a lot. We decided not to, and the reason is because we think that there's more value for the customer to have an actual physical, real piece of paper in front of them. We think it makes it more tangible, more real. Plus, the service agreement, I think, has more value to be filled out with pen and paper as opposed to with a digital iPad. So I don't think that we're going to ever switch to a presentation on a digital platform such as an iPad. It's not that we don't have the technology to do it right now. We easily can. We have lots of tools where we could do it if we want to, but we've decided that we want to use, real, actual physical paper instead. One other thing. In our organization, we have referred to this tool as a sales binder, a treatment guide, and a service guide, as well as a few other terms. In order to create unity and conformity, we now refer to it as the treatment guide. So if you look it up in the manual, you're going to want to search for treatment guide. However, if anybody says, hey, you got a sales binder, you know what they're talking about. It's this thing. If somebody calls it a service guide, so sales binder, treatment guide, service guide, those are all the same thing. But try to refer to it as a treatment guide. That's kind of difficult for me because I've referred to it as a sales binder for a long time, so it's kind of hard to retrain myself. But anyways, we're calling it a treatment guide. If you're office personnel, you can go ahead and skip forward. The next several minutes of this video, I'm going to be talking about how to use this as either a sales rep or a technician. So if you don't want to watch that, you don't have to. You can go ahead and skip forward to, I think it's minute 13 in the video, and that talks about how to print it, which is what you're going to be interested in. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the key points for reps and technicians, I'm going to explain how to use this. So as a sales rep, you'll carry this with you all the time. If somebody qualifies, then you'll go ahead and open this up and start explaining it to them. And then typically as a sales rep, I'll say one other thing. Usually what I do as a sales rep, when somebody asks me about a price, they have now been qualified, I'll say, well, I can go ahead and, to answer that question, I'll go ahead and get you a quote. What's your name again? And then what's your, give me your address here. Okay, and then actually I know it's 114. Is it, I'm sorry, what's the street again? Monument, okay. And then your zip code is 81521, right? Okay, cool, got it. What's your phone number? So you just start filling this out. And then once you fill this out, then what you'll do is you'll leave that on there, and then you'll open it up and use this to explain to the customer what we do. As a technician, you probably won't do that. You'll probably fill this out last. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that down. As a technician, when you do your initial services for price not set, so these are the initial services that are set up by the office. If you follow your QRH checklist, which you will follow because that's really important. If you follow that, one of the things in that checklist is it tells you to bring your treatment guide with you when you go talk to the customer. That's this. So you want to have this go with you up to the customer. You don't have to bring it on the first time you make contact, because the very first time you make contact with the customer, you're going to talk with them, ask them what they're seeing, and then you're going to go to your inspection. And then when you get done with your inspection, you'll go grab your treatment guide. You'll look at the rate card on the back and figure out what you want to price them. You'll fill out as much of the service agreement as you can before, and then you'll go up and then you'll use this to explain to the customer what you're going to do, and then finish filling out the service agreement. Now let's go through this insert. So the very first thing you see is the cover page. And again, this is just a logical process by which we walk the customer through who we are and what we offer and how much we charge. So the first thing you can, on this page, you can just explain, our company is called Penguin Pest Control. We're a really innovative company. We're fast growing. We do really, really good work. We pride ourselves on just doing an excellent, outstanding job. So if you use us, I guarantee you're going to like us. Next page. The next page, you got 2 diagrams. They're in this order for a reason. The first one is, it shows the places where bugs can come into the house. And the second one shows the areas that we treat. So logically, we're Penguin. We do a great job. We're a great pest control company. You're going to love us. On this diagram, here's the problems. Here's the places where bugs can get into your house. This is what we're going to do to stop those bugs from getting into your house. Now, as far as what we offer, I think we'd like to offer you a treatment plan. Now, the benefits for you with the treatment plan is A, they're less expensive per service. B, they carry a warranty. And C, they achieve far better control. Now, for you, I think I'd recommend the quarterly plan. And then you go straight to the quarterly plan. And then you explain the quarterly plan. And then from there, these other pages you don't use a lot. The very last, there's a couple of things that you use from time to time, like the Colorado extension. It talks about how termites are becoming more and more of a problem in Colorado. And so if you're pitching someone on a preventative treatment inspection to know whether or not they have it, then you'll use this. Otherwise, you won't use that. And then from here, you'll go to your last page. That'll just jog your memory. It's just a hint, a reminder to you to then go back, grab the service agreement, pull it out, put it on the first page, start filling it out if you haven't already. So that's how it works. One other thing, the tabs on here, M stands for monthly, ELM, obviously every other month, and Q for quarterly. Pretty self-explanatory. Typically, every customer is going to see the first page. Every customer will see the diagrams. Every customer should see this page, which is the benefits of the treatment plan. And then every customer will see only one of these. So typically, you don't show them monthly and EOM and quarterly. You as a sales rep or you as a technician should have an idea of whether or not you should recommend monthly or EOM or quarterly, and then just pitch that. Remember KISS, which stands for keep it simple, stupid. So don't make it complicated. If you know that their treatment or their problem, their pest issue can be taken care of with quarterly, then just pitch quarterly. If it's cockroaches, why talk about EOM? Why talk about quarterly? If they need a monthly, then just pitch a monthly. Just go to that and don't even explain the rest of the stuff. So that's how it works. One other thing that we typically put in here, grab this. I want to show you. I usually use a little paper clip right here to hold this down. Otherwise, sometimes these fall down. And then also, I try to put it on the other side here, so it's not quite as noticeable on the front page for visibility. And then on the inside, it still holds it in. And also, if you just clip just the corner of this, you can still pull this out pretty easily. So if you get one of these, you just pull it just a little bit to the side like that. You kind of pull it down and out, and then you don't have to move that paper clip. And then also when you put it here, since it's behind there, it doesn't interfere quite as much with the rest of it. So that's what I do. Now, 2 other tips for sales representatives and techs. This needs to be pristine. So first, take care of it. You want to not drop it. If you can help it, try not to drop it in your truck. Keep it in your black binder where it's nice and tucked away, where it's safe. It doesn't get all marred up. If it does get marred up and it's all busted up, replace it. Talk to the office manager, do whatever you need to do in order to replace it. This is the first contact and the first experience that people have with Penguin Pest Control, with our brand. So if it's all marred up and crinkled, it's obviously not going to be a good first impression, and that really will annoy me a lot. So Take care of it, make sure it looks nice. These pages inside, we laminate them for a reason, so that they look nice, they stay looking sharp. If they do get marred up, they'll let us know. Keep service agreements inside. You need to keep plenty on file so you never run out. I want to do one other thing, just the notes about the service agreement. I mentioned earlier that one of the reasons why we have decided to not go digital with this and to keep our presentation in a real tangible physical binder like this is because of the service agreement itself, especially this diagram. So this diagram that lists the months in a seasonal breakdown is super beneficial for the customer. It allows them to visualize exactly when we're coming out and when we're going to be there. And so you use a square to indicate the initial service, and then you use a circle to indicate all the ongoing services. Works really well. The other thing that the service agreement has is it allows the customer to initial to say that they heard the audio clip, and it also allows them to initial to indicate that they know that their first follow-up is going to be so many days. So you write maybe 30 days if you're going to come back and do the initial, or you're going to do the initial and 30 days later you're going to do the first follow-up, and just go ahead and indicate 30 days later and have them initial. And also if they want auto pay, they can go ahead and fill that out. Now, we also use the service agreement for all auto pay, even if it's not a first-time customer. So if you have a regular customer, let's say they've been with us for 2 years, and then all of a sudden they're like, can you guys go ahead and do a credit card auto pay for me? Just keep that card on file and just run it. Say, you bet. Go ahead and pull out a service agreement, write their name on it and their address. You don't have to worry about their phone number because we already have it. Just make sure you get their name, ideally their address, but main thing that you just need is their name, and then just have them initial that. And then we have legal permission to keep that card on file and then to run it. And then this has to be scanned, digitized, and then put into Gorilla Desk. Now, the other thing about the service agreement is that it's a backup, it's a redundancy to the agreement, which is really important. Every once in a while, we'll get a customer and they're like, I don't want you guys to keep coming. I never agreed to X, Y, and Z. I didn't know it was going to be an ongoing thing. I didn't know that there was a cancellation fee, or I didn't know I had to pay back the initial service discount, blah, blah, blah. As you know, they signed the service invoice, but if they also sign the agreement, so they sign the service invoice, the initial service invoice, and the service agreement, that's two things that they signed. So it just solidifies that we did everything in our power to try to communicate to them, be straightforward and explain what we do and what the terms of the agreement was. Once this is completed, it should be digitized. So if you have it, I don't know if this works the same on Android, but on iPhone, you can use your phone to actually do a scan copy. So it creates a PDF instead of a picture. And then you can just email that to the customer, not to the customer, to the office, and the office can upload it to the Gorilla Desk platform. So that's what that is. Let's go ahead and go into printing. So if you're a technician or a sales rep, you don't have to listen to the rest of this. If you're an office person, then go ahead and start listening now. How to print. So in the Penguin folder, there is, in sales, there's another folder called Treatment Guide, and inside of Treatment Guide is a single document, and it's already set up to be all of this. And so all you have to do is just print it double-sided. Now you have to print it on a premium paper. So either 28 pound or cardstock. If your printer will print cardstock, do cardstock. If not, 28 pound premium's good enough. Cardstock's better. And then that'll be all the inserts. Every single insert we put in here, all of this, everything needs to be laminated. Also, we laminate the cover page, and we also laminate the rate card on the back. So everything that goes in here, every single piece of paper, with the exception of service agreements, are laminated. You print that insert double-sided, and then you just laminate one at a time. Easy peasy. When you laminate it, you got to make sure it's centered, and so there's an equal amount of laminate on all sides. Also, when you feed that into the machine, you got to make sure it goes in straight with an equal amount of space on each side of the machine. And there's not much, it's like a millimeter. If you get too close to one side and crooked, that's my Idaho vernacular. If it's all the way to one side and crooked, then when it goes in, it will pull it to one side, and it will mar it and crease it, And I don't think I need to tell you that if any of these are not pristine, then they are fit for one thing, and that's the garbage, because this has to be absolutely perfect. Anything less than perfect is unacceptable. So try not to mar them, but if you do, just throw them away and restart. Then when you get them all laminated, you just go ahead and punch the holes. There should be no cutting around the edges. We want to leave this overlap on the whole thing. The only thing that you have to cut is just the edges right here. And you don't have to cut very much off, but if you don't cut that, then it will catch on that little lever right there on the binder. And then you go ahead and insert those, and then you go back to this thing that you printed and you print page 1 of 1. And that'll be this page, and then you laminate that too. And then you go ahead and print the rate card, laminate that, put that in the back. And then you take tabs, and each one gets 3 tabs, one for M, which obviously goes on the monthly plan, and then on the EOM, or the bi-monthly plan, put the EOM, and then on the quarterly, you get the point. Those are the tabs that you put in there, and then you can go ahead and put a paper clip on here, and then put in, let's go ahead and put 10 or 15 service agreements in every single one of these that we set up, and that's it. The other thing actually one other thing that we can put in here for technicians only is on the back we can put a couple of magnets in there, because we give those to all the customers. The sales reps don't need to carry those, but technicians do. Now, one other thing is the size of binder. We always print these on 1/2 inch, not 1 inch. The reason is 1 inch is kind of a little uncomfortable in your hand. It doesn't fit quite right, and so we always go 1/2 inch. The other thing is we always buy the highest quality binders. They're usually like $8 or $9 each. Now you can find these on the cheap ones for like I don't know, like $1 each. Don't buy those. Buy the high quality, usually the more expensive ones. Best quality that you can possibly find. And again, pristine is the name of the game. This is the first contact that people are going to have with our brand, and we don't want to go in on the first contact with, here, look at a marred up, scuffed up, messed up, cheap binder. It needs to look good, and subconsciously it'll make a big difference to the customer. That's all I've got. Easy peasy, easy peasy.